Good evening, everybody. I'm Donovan Daniel from Indiana University of Pennsylvania, and you're tuning in to the first of 3 Diversity and Inclusion Facebook Live series that our university is holding. All of our topics are going to be coming from our diversity brochure. A little bright in the camera probably, but check it out Facebook here. Live series at our university. We have some excellent topics that we're talking about that are pertinent to undergraduate students that are considering coming, their parents, other decision makers, guidance counselors. So we definitely want you to have this. If you'd like a copy, as we're talking about it throughout the series, definitely just comment your email and we can get you a copy out. As we're talking about diversity and inclusion, 3 things that come to mind in this series, one of which we're going to talk about tonight, is investment, community, and outcome. We want to let you all know that with college, it's a significant investment, but it's a worthwhile one. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Community will come up in March, and then outcomes in April. So we're hoping you tune into all of them, and we'll let you know about dates as the program goes on. But let me introduce the people that are with me today. So to my right here, I have Zach Saeva from the Office of Career and Professional Development. I also have Dr. Malaika Turner. She's here from the Office of Housing, Res Life, and Dining. And then Kiani Lozada, one of our student workers for the program Promising Scholars. She's our student coordinator for the program. So who's tuning in with us? Who's here right now?
All right, it looks like here on our comments we have greetings from Costa Rica from Mari D. Davis.
Wow.
We have Ben Hines who says hi, and we have Steve Vashi who also says yes. So I'm guessing that means hi.
Okay. All right, well, what's up, Costa Rica?
Costa Rica?
Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with that. So we'll give some more time for people to tune in.
Right.
But we're just really excited to talk about investment. Right now, with economic times changing and with so many career opportunities changing in different cities around the country, it's important more than ever to invest in education. And so obviously we know that work for the university, but we're hoping you learn that either tonight or as we go on with this Facebook series.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. And I think everybody at the table has attended IUP at one point or another. Is that true?
Yes.
Zach, what program did you do at IUP?
I studied student affairs and higher education here for my master's degree.
Awesome. And Kiani, what are you graduating in a couple weeks?
So coming May, I will be graduating with a Bachelor of Science in Communications Media. So Here's to working for that. Almost gone, but sad, but happy at the same time.
We're crying here. She does a lot of work in our office.
A lot of years of work.
But you have studied here before, I think, right?
Many times.
Okay.
Yes. Ben Hines is a class of 1994.
What's up, Ben? All right.
Great.
And we also have Muhammad from Pittsburgh here, and he is a senior here on Indiana's campus as well.
Awesome.
Colette, her son currently goes here to IUP. So.
Okay.
And we have Jacqueline Ambasso, who says that she misses IUP.
Well, it's changing a lot, but it's definitely something
You'll have to
miss.
visit.
Absolutely.
Encourage you to
visit. Yeah. So again, for those that are just recently tuning in, we're talking about diversity and inclusion throughout this Facebook Live series. We're going to be doing an event tonight. We have another one coming up in the afternoon on March 15th, and then one on a Saturday on April 8th. And all of the topics are going to be coming from our diversity brochure that's available to you electronically. All we ask is that you email us or comment your email so that we can send it to you sometime tomorrow. Tonight's topic is going to be on investment, and we're titling tonight's discussion, Making an Investment in Your Success. I fully believe, and I'm sure my co-panelists agree, that getting an education is truly an investment in your success. So let's start off with the first question and kind of see where the conversation goes.
Sounds good.
Folks, why should somebody go to college? What are some general reasons why somebody should go to college?
I think I'll kind of claim the elephant in the room. From a career development standpoint, we are definitely seeing college attendance, relate to the employment field. A lot of employers are really looking for those who have college degrees, and it's definitely increasing as the years go on.
Okay.
Definitely.
There's some other reasons. Why go to college?
Well, I'll tell a little personal story. I think from the moment that I was probably born, it was kind of drilled into me that, I had to make sure I got an education. And my grandmother and my mother, they were very supportive, and they invested in me to invest in higher education, and they really greatly influenced my decision into coming to IUP. Because I know the price tag and the numbers might seem intimidating at first, but honestly, it is something that is worth the investment. And I know you have statistics on that it's worth it. What are those statistics?
Yeah, let me grab them real quick because I can't recall from memory. But what we're seeing, though, is that adults with a bachelor's degree in the late 1970s, the 70s, they earned 55% more than adults who did not have a college degree. And then when that study was done again in the 90s, we saw that percentage rise to 75%. And then even now, and this was done in the mid 2000s, it's risen to 77 to 85% more. So if you have a college degree, you're making 77 to 85% more than those with just a high school degree. And again, I know there's definitely outliers to that, those who haven't pursued higher education and are making a lot of money as well. But again, I think that's just one part. And even to kind of tag along to what we've talked about before, I think the college experience also is a reason why to invest in it. Mm-hmm. I hear a lot of times students talk about wanting to go to college to find themselves and to learn how to live as an individual. I think that's definitely something to consider too for attending college.
Learning how to live. That's definitely interesting. So folks out there, as we're talking, we want you to talk with us.
Yeah, please.
What are some of the reasons, especially for our alum, why did you go to college? Why did you come to IUP? And for people that are considering college, some of our high school students that may be out there, why do you think you want to go to college? What's some of the things that are making you excited about this 4-year journey you're considering? So, I'll speak for myself. I really didn't have an option. I think that's kind of what Kiani tried to put nicely. My mother said, you're going to college. And I think she was more invested in me going than even I was. She filled out the applications, and I was at the table with her, but certainly she was putting all the information in, and she was making sure that I picked the right school. She allowed me to, go to a school where my friends were, and it happened to be here. But she definitely was like, we had to pick a major where you're going to get a job, where you're going to be to contribute to society. And while she was more invested then, I'm certainly more invested now. I thank her for putting that early investment in and pushing me when I didn't really know how valuable it was. So,
Great.
That's great. I think I'm similar. I think my grandparents were more invested than I was. They were pushing hard, and I struggled a bit in high school. On the flip side, I'm also an only child. So when I came to college, I think one of the things that was so valuable for me was family. And I felt like I met people who were family. I built community here.
Yeah. And
even now, years later, that family has grown. And I know that part of that was the investment that was made in me.
Absolutely.
Some of those family members really invested in my success. So...
Absolutely. So, Kiani, what were some of the answers we got to our earlier question?
Right. We have a few shout-outs here. Tim Carl from the class of 2010. He is from Fairbanks, Alaska.
Wow.
What up, Tim?
Alaska.
We have Julianne Cogley, who gives a shout-out to Zach, and she is a 2-time graduate of IUP and a proud Sahi alum.
Okay. Hey.
Natalie D., her daughter and niece both go to IUP from Uniontown, Pennsylvania.
Awesome.
And we have Ben Hines, who said that he went to IUP because of price and quality, so much that his son will be attending IUP this fall.
Wow. That's
Congratulations.
great.
Always good to have a legacy.
We also have Mark Young, who is an alumni from 1975.
Okay.
And Julianne Cogley says that her parents graduated from IUP in 2009 and 2010, and she also didn't have a choice, but she was going to college.
That's all right. That's all right. Sometimes the best choices aren't ours. So that's okay.
And we got another one. 2 more. Justin Rossi says class of 11 and 13, and he was a IUP ambassador because he says ambassador. I'm an ambassador right now.
That's great.
Awesome.
Steve Vashi, their son is going to IUP, and he is class of 89.
Yeah.
And Mari Davis, our friend from Costa Rica, says that IUP is a great university, great professors, great programs, which I agree.
You heard it from somebody other than us, so that's awesome. And just to tease our conversation for those who just joined in, again, we're just talking about diversity and inclusion. The reality is that African Americans and Hispanics and other underrepresented populations, we're still not seeing enough of them on college campuses, colleges and universities. But IUP is making a really significant push to try to make those doors open for students that didn't realize that those doors were opening for them. There's so many different programs we have going on. There's so many ways in which we're investing in students. But right now we're just focusing on why go to college. I think we talked about the financial impact, and Zach, you also mentioned how to live, like learning how to cope with the world around us. What are some personal reasons we gave? I know, Kiani, you said you had to go. I know I had to go. Zach, why did you go to college?
For me, I really loved music, and I knew I wanted to pursue that. In some capacity, I was never good enough to perform. So for me, communications, media, and being able to be within the radio industry was something I wanted to pursue. But as I was involved in college, I started to realize that being alone in a DJ booth talking, to listeners, kind of similar to this right now, listening to our talking to our YouTube or our Facebook Live friends, it just wasn't the right fit for me. So that's when I started to get more involved on my college campus and being a tour guide and different things like that. And then I heard that you could get a graduate degree and work at a university setting. So that's when I really started to do my homework. And I'm from Western New York, and a colleague of mine at my home university went to IUP and just sung their praises. And it's really when I decided to take a look at IUP, and I just knew the reputation that it had and the faculty and how they're really committed to the field. Absolutely. So that's how I decided to go to college, but then also why a graduate program.
Absolutely. Dr. Turner, you talked about you struggled in high school, and I get that you might have been pushed a little bit to consider college, but if my recollection serves me well, you have 3 degrees from IUP. So you can blame your family for the first one, but why did you continue to invest in education?
Oh, wow. I think, again, college was a struggle for me. Yeah. I remember the summer of, I think, 93 or 4, I didn't get the grade that I needed or that was required for me to stay at IUP, and I was told, you're finished, you're done, you've had as many chances as we can give you. And, you sit there as a student and calculate multiple times. Let me calculate that again. I'm sure that I have the grade, and I didn't have the grade. But I had a mentor who stuck by me and really, again, just spoke into my life and poured into me. And I had a community of people around me who just spoke positive words. And through that suggested, and my story is that they suggested that I call the professor where I didn't get the grade. And I called the professor, and the professor let me retake the final over the phone.
Over the phone?
Over the phone.
Wow.
Because she was going to Europe. Over the phone. I took the final over the phone, and she submitted the paperwork so that I could get the grade that I needed, and I was able to stay. So those are the kinds of investments that I think that people and that personal investment that is made into students back then and even now that help you to go from surviving in college to thriving. And I think that same mentor and that community around me helped push me to move further until, at this point, I think I'm done with degrees, but I just felt like I went from someone who wasn't even sure I would stay here to someone who is now working here and pouring into students today.
Yeah. Shout out mentors. Anybody give any more reasons, Kiani, why they came to college and what their personal reasons were?
Well, something that really attracted me to IUP, again, is the sense of family and community here. That was one of my biggest concerns coming here, being so far from home. I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, so IUP is 5 hours from Philly, and it's definitely a big environmental change, and I guess the student body is reflective of that as well. So things are different here compared to a major city in a smaller town, but honestly, I'm so grateful that I came here because the small town mindset and the community aspect is here. IUP might seem very big at first, but honestly, you see the same faces every day. And I can just talk about going to work every day. I work for admissions, but honestly, it's like family. You're my supervisor, but you're like my uncle at the same time.
Uncle Donovan.
Young uncle.
That's family based here,
Absolutely.
So I'm glad I went to IUP and I'm here, so.
Yeah, no doubt. And you talked about really speaking into somebody's life. I came to IUP and I was going to be the strength and conditioning coach for the Philadelphia Eagles. That was the goal. And they probably could still use it. Shout out Eagles fans that are in misery with me. But, I was going to do that. And, things would happen that led me to not pursue exercise science beyond getting the degree. The program was fantastic, but I didn't make that transition to actually working in the field. And I really didn't know what I was going to do, but I can't tell you how many IUP faculty members and staff members and community members that went to the university poured into me. And over the time I've been here since 2005, right? 2 degrees, got married up here. But one of the greatest things that came out of my experience so far is I recognized the calling to preach. And I didn't know that before I got up here. I didn't think about ministry. I fell asleep in church before I got here. And who would have knew, like, in addition to education and getting a career, meeting my wife up here, like, I figured out what I felt called to do beyond the career. Like, how I'm going to impact the world beyond what my job title says. So I think that's really cool. And that's one of the, things that you can get with coming to college.
Yeah, definitely.
So...
All right, so we have a lot more shout-outs right now.
Okay.
We have Chris Cozzolino, who graduated in 1998, and he currently teaches criminology now.
Wow, okay.
We have James Hanelick, who graduated in 1981. His sister Sue in 82, and his other sister Debbie in 83.
A whole family.
So
All right.
family here.
Family.
We have Charlene Jackson, who graduated in 1981 and loved the college and wishes that they lived closer so that they could attend some college activities that happen here.
Still come visit. Got some hotels for you.
Ben Hines has he's pointing you out, Zach. He says, are you inspired by Dr. Francisco Alarcon? He's a professor in the math department and always wears a bow tie. So.
Yes. And President Driscoll is also a bow tie fan.
Yes.
So he commented on his bow ties many times. Just so you know, it's not a clip-on, it's an actual bow tie.
Ooh.
So we have to get that straight.
It's official. It's an official bow tie.
It's snazzy.
It's snazzy. It's refined. We
that.
have Andrea Baker, who is a student in class of 2002. Her father's a retired professor and mother's a retired dean, and they ate, slept, and breathed IUP.
Wow.
Nicholas Datman, a 2015 graduate. And we have Scott Rhodes, who says, back in 1979, they had the unique opportunity to be a dorm hall counselor for incoming freshmen. And many were from very diverse locations. And he says it was a great way to help give back to IUP students and help them orient to college life in small town Indiana.
Wow.
Fantastic.
That.
That's
Wow.
really neat.
That's what we're hiring now.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Let's see here. We have Sonata Spellman, a 1998 graduate. Was a work-study student in the admissions office, now is a recruiter in the HBCU in Maryland.
Oh, fantastic.
Okay. All right. That's real cool.
Some of my greatest memories of my life originated at IUP, graduated in 1984. This is Rich Childs. Classes, dorm life, fraternity row, athletics, cheerleaders, intramurals, working the class registrations were a total blast back then.
Wow.
Awesome. So we've already started talking about this a little bit, but shifting gears from talking about why college is a good investment, how does IUP, we all work for the university in one capacity or another, how do we invest in students?
Well, I can start, actually. I actually work in the Office of Housing, Residential Living, and Dining. And we are in the process now, actually, of hiring our community assistants. But that's one way that I know that we invest in students is in the residence halls, formerly known as dorms. But in our residence halls where we have programming and just offer a lot of different engagement opportunities for our CAs to do with residents. We now have a living learning initiative. I mean, living learning is huge at this point where our faculty and our staff members are able to come into the residence hall and work with the residence hall office and the residence directors to provide programming and different activities that will provide a seamless transition from the classroom to their living environment. So I think that those are some ways that we are really looking to improve and invest in our students. And one other thing that I think is neat, we've been really going through some changes in the housing office, and one of the things we're looking at is engagement, an engagement model. How can we engage the students and really connect them to the IUP community? And that's our students, those of you who are coming, and those of you who are sending your students in the fall who will be living in the residence halls will find that there will be a lot of activities and a lot of a push of connecting them with the campus, where the programmers really are. So we're excited about that investment.
Absolutely, and certainly thinking about housing, the significant investment made just last decade about our residence halls.
Yes. 10 years. It's been 10 years.
10 years.
Putt Delaney will be 10 years old, I think, in the fall.
I was the first head CA of that building. Not to date myself. But
Young uncle.
Young Uncle D.
yeah, no, we you had one of the largest residential revivals, if I'm not mistaken, the largest
The
at
largest
that time.
is like 100 million.
Yeah,
It's
pretty
nice.
significant. Eight residence halls in all, and all of them. It's really cool. Maybe we could talk a little bit about the offices that are accessible in some of those buildings. I know with Delaney, you have the Office of International Education and the Multicultural Affairs and Student Success. So maybe talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really nice. In our Ruddick Hall, we have the Office of Housing and Residential Living and Dining. That is downstairs and readily accessible to students. What is also nice is that in Stevenson, it's the business, living, learning community, but right, like, 5 steps away is the business department. And so the students will find that you'll be able to have programs and different clubs and organizations in the business department have some of their meetings over in Stevenson Hall.
Absolutely.
So, and again, our Center for Health and Wellbeing is located in Maple East. So, we really tried to be sensitive and very mindful of the services that are available to students so that whatever they need, it's just a few steps away.
Absolutely. And I think, think about the CA position, being able to lead one's peers. It was crucial in my professional development, and it definitely played a significant role in just about any office I've ever worked in, being able to speak to people who may have higher rank than me or maybe older, but I was always confident that I could communicate with them because of the CA position, just working with my peers and leading people and having responsibilities that at the time seemed far more than what I can handle, but I just learned that I was capable of so much more in that position. So, Kiani, you have a TV show.
Yes, I
so
do.
How has IUP invested in your career in regards to that TV show?
It kind of ties in with all the events and programming that IUP really pushes out there to engage and invest in its students. I found out about IUP TV through one of the many programmings. I think it was IUP Day, which is similar to Winter Warm-Up, where many organizations come together in the KCAC or the Memorial Fieldhouse, and it's kind of a way to recruit people to join organizations. And that's how I found out about IUP TV, which I'm currently the producer of a TV show called Press Start. And so the way that I find that it's invested me in there is that at the same time I get real world applications of what I'm learning in the classroom. And it's really hard to run a TV station, but it's really rewarding at the same time. So it's amazing to see that, IUP is giving me the resources to be able to apply what I'm learning in the classroom in the real world already while still being in the higher education environment.
Absolutely. Now, before I ask you, Zach, I was definitely going to ask you about something that's coming up next week. I'm curious, how is IUP invested in some of our alums? How is IUP invested in you? Or, for any prospective students, how do you want IUP to invest in you? Maybe give us some suggestions. I'd love to hear, what you put on the comments. So I'm going to give Zach an opportunity to talk about an event next week, but be thinking about that. How has IUP invested in you, or how do you want us to invest in you? I'd love to hear that before we wrap up tonight. Zach, speed interviewing.
Yeah, there's actually 2 events going on next week that kind of connect themselves. No, that's all right. It's all good. And this is kind of exciting to announce on Facebook Live. Our Spring Career Fair, we think it's going to be the largest fair that we've had, at least within the last 5 years, if not longer. As of right now, we have we have 99 employers registered. Wow. Just want that one more to tip it over to the triple digits. So we have nearly 100 employers coming to campus for Spring Career Fair. So if there's any students watching right now, make sure you come to Spring Career Fair at the Kovalchik Complex from 10 until 2 p.m. All right, that was my own little plug. 10 until 2. So after that event, though, we're doing a really unique event called Speed Interviewing, and we're bringing our promising scholars in with several employers and really having them have a almost speed dating-ish type experience, except it's with employers, and it's going to be targeted more towards improving interview skills. So every employer is going to ask one question and give students an opportunity to respond to that and get some feedback based on the response.
Great.
So it's a great opportunity for our promising scholars, and we're also opening it up to students at large.
So make sure you register by tomorrow, right?
Yep, registration ends tomorrow.
Yeah.
So hit us up in the comments and I can get you that information.
Absolutely. So 2 significant ways in which your office is investing, and certainly all these different offices are doing that. Kiani, did we get any response to that question so far?
All right. So we have Sue Keller, who says that their daughter will be a freshman at IUP in this fall, and she's super glad to hear about getting students involved in the IUP community.
Absolutely.
We have Jared DeVito, who says that they graduated with their undergrad in 2012, and they are on track to complete their graduate degree in the fall.
Congratulations.
And they're a graduate research assistant. And they said that the anthropology department faculty have always made IUP feel like a home away from home.
Yeah.
And they're highly invested in student success and want to see you achieve great things both inside and outside of the classroom. So that ties into basically what I just said in my own testimony. So that's really cool.
Yeah, no doubt.
Let's see here. Well, we see Angie Augusto says, shout out to my fellow alum sitting at your table. Do you guys recognize this person? Angie Augusto. My maiden name is Angie Lehman, I believe, and my experience at IUP is an experience that I will forever carry with me.
Great.
And they have graduated from the exercise science bachelor's program, and they now have their master's in healthcare administration and work for one of the largest healthcare organizations in the U.S.
Congratulations.
Wow, that's great.
Continued success.
That's great.
Absolutely. No, definitely. I'm just really, proud to work for an institution that invests in students as much as we do. Certainly, every school can boast about, what they do. But we're not here to talk about anybody else right now. It's all about IUP tonight. All about IUP, Crimson Hawk. So, Zach, you mentioned this, and I don't want to let this go. You talked about the Promising Scholars, and so just for those who don't know about it, the Promising Scholars is one of our many scholarship programs here at IUP. It's using Board of Governors money, which a lot of the state institutions use to help students out. But here at IUP, we use it to boost our underrepresented student numbers. And so going back to that diversity and inclusion thing, because we don't want to lose that here tonight, how IUP invests in students, and in this case, particularly underrepresented students in higher education, we offer the scholarship through recruitment events in Philadelphia and other suburbs around the East, as well as in the Western PA region. And we try to recruit as many students as possible, usually about 30 to 35 students a year. Right now, we have somewhere around 150 scholars on campus, of which Kiani's one. And so a student that wants to has to have a 3.0 and 1,000 on their SATs or better. Really competitive program. And what we're really excited about at IUP is we don't just offer the scholarship, but we invest in students with our retention program. Students are challenged to do research, grad level research, before they finish their sophomore year, compete in statewide debate competitions, do community service around the community and for the university, go to career and professional development events like speed interviewing. And we're happy to say that while statistics aren't necessarily great all the time for graduation rate for 4 years, for the Promising Scholars, 66% of students at last glance were graduating in 4 years. So we weren't just getting people to IUP, but through IUP. I love that about the program.
Great. That's a great line.
Kiani, you being a scholar and you getting ready to leave, what's one of the impacts or what's one of the investments that the Promising Scholars program has put for you?
That is a very good question. That's also a tough question. But I think it's just the sense of community and having basically the program heads completely, again, invested in me and kind of pushing me outside of my comfort zone and really honing into me that I can be successful here, I can be successful outside of the university setting as well. And every step of the way, if I ever had an issue with classes or finding resources on campus, they were there to help me figure out how can I make myself succeed here. So I feel again, it's a two-way street where, you got to give something to get something in return. And what I got in return was so much better than I could have ever expected.
Absolutely. We definitely made a significant investment in Kiani, and it was a worthwhile investment. Certainly there's going to be some outcomes that we're excited about with that, and that's just teasing, where we're going in the future. As we wrap up, I just want to say again, because I'd be remiss if I don't say this again, our diversity piece is fantastic. And in here you can find information about how IUP is investing in students, how we're building community, both on campus and off, and also how we're promoting some significant outcomes. And so if you would like this piece, I can email it to you. Please just put your email in the comments so that I can send that out to you sometime tomorrow. We're going to be talking about this again in March and in April. And, a lot of us were mentioning community, both on the comments tonight with our Facebook Live viewers and here in this room, we were mentioning community. And so March 15th, in the afternoon that day, we're going to be talking about community, and we're going to have a different set of panelists that are going to talk about how student organizations have helped them, how they've maybe met people from all around the world, and how their perspectives on life may have changed because of the people they've interacted with, just getting to see different people. And then on April 8th, it's a Saturday, we hope you tune in again for our last Facebook Live event of the spring, where we'll be talking about outcomes. how does an IUP education help a student? What kind of outcomes does it produce, and how is it helping shape the world around us? So I really hope you tune in for all of it. Before we shut it down, though, is there any last comments or anything that we can refer to?
Let's see where we're at right now. So Alyssa says, I'm so excited to start as a freshman this coming fall.
Hey, shout out Alyssa.
Dana Henry says, rock on IUP. Lee Vest says, we love IUP and our students.
Okay.
Sarah and Sharita would like to know, do you have to be a PA resident for the scholarship you were mentioning? And what about scholarships for out-of-state students?
Okay, so you do have a PA resident for that scholarship, and we're going to start recruiting for that again in the fall. So if you haven't already, applied for it, we'd love to tell you about that. Just go ahead and put your email in the comments, and we can talk more about it. And as far as out-of-state scholarships, we're working on that every day. There are some scholarships that are offered at the departmental and college level, not right now for promising scholars, but there's certainly monies coming for that. We want to invest in all of our students. We recently put forth $150,000 towards transfer students, and so we're always adding new ways to offer scholarships to students, and so that's definitely coming.
All right, let's see what else we have here. We have my roommate's mom who says hi to me. Hi.
Hello.
Lee Vest says shout out to journalism and public relations students.
Yeah.
We had Dendriel, proud alum of 2004 and 2007.
Okay.
Ooh.
So a lot of repeat alums. Mm-hmm. I mean, that definitely speaks to the investment IUP makes and the quality and value of the education. Well, we're really glad you tuned in tonight. We're going to shut it down and let you get to dinner if you haven't already eaten, because we're hungry too. And just thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll hopefully see you on March 15th to talk about community. So have a great night, and invest in IUP.
Thank you.
Thank you.